Today I want to talk about nostalgia, and I've recently been seeing so many videos about it. And I know algorithms can push certain things in front of you, but just overall in general, just more people talking about it than usual. And don't get me wrong, I love to think about the old times, especially where things were a lot simpler, but I really didn't do it too often until recently, which in my opinion, that means either I've already had my peak or I'm just now starting to realize how good it was. And of course, the memories from your youth will be better than your current reality just because it was so much simpler and you just expected so much less. But I found that at some point I was starting to live in the nostalgia instead of making new memories in the future to then look back on. And eventually it just became a cope to distract me from moving on and trying new things. What's familiar can kind of hold you back from what could be discovered. And I think other people are doing that too. It's kind of a big thing now to just everybody's saying how video games aren't the same anymore. And I started feeling that way. It was pretty easy to load up the game, like be excited and then just sit on the dashboard. And a lot of the times I would drink or do whatever to like enhance it. But then I realized like all that was just like an excuse or something to do while I got my hit for the day. And it isn't that the video games aren't as good as they used to be. Like you're just grown up now. You have so much ability to find new things to do with your time. And I think when you were a kid, they could be the whole day. Like you could play a video game for 8 hours or just every time you came home, play the same game and just grind it. And now they're just background noise. There's something to do while you talk to your friends, catch up, or just do for like an hour or two. And they're just a part of your life. They're just a part of your life. They're not your whole life. And I mean, even this gameplay is from an old game I played when I was a kid. And recently I was talking to some people and they were talking about this game, how fun it was. But I will say, through getting back into the Wii, which I felt like I was playing every game and going back to old things, Game Boy, Xbox, Wii, and what I realized is that some memories are better off just left in your head. You don't always need to recreate them or like feel them again because they won't even come close to what they were at the time. And I loaded up some of like these old Wii games I played in my childhood, and I'm not gonna lie, they look bad. Like the graphics were bad, the controls and the movement weren't good, and it was so different than how I had remembered them. And I'm not going to say it like ruin the memory. It has a chance of, I wouldn't say ruining it, but making you realize that they weren't as good as they used to be, which honestly kind of gives me some closure in a way. Like the experience itself wasn't so good that you're chasing, but just the age and the expectation was so much lower at the time, which I then started realizing how I was almost forcing myself to live in nostalgia in a way, to like enjoy the things that I used to. And I had to find ways to try to figure out how I could make the memory feel like it did when I was younger. And one of those ways was that I would like use substances and stuff. And I would drink and play the old Xbox games that I liked and they just didn't hit. And then I would do the same thing with whatever, your thing of choice. But then I would have to do it more and more, and at some point I just had to accept that that feeling can't be given again, and that at some point I have to move on as, an adult and just realize that both can be good. Your childhood memories can be good, and these new ones can be good as well, because honestly, what did you really miss as a child? Like, what did you do? Like, drink soda and eat candy and play video games? Like, compared to now, when as an adult, yeah, you have responsibility, but you can literally go across the world. You can start a business, you can do any hobby you want, you can stay out late, you can drive wherever. you have so much more freedom and like the ability to create so much better stuff if you just kind of give it a chance and like just take that step into the unknown, really. And the reason I kind of thought about this was because I went to a resort that I always went to when I was younger. It was kind of like our family vacation spot over the course of years. That was just kind of where we would go. That would be where we take our trip. And I remember being the youngest and trying to stay up late to keep up with the older kids, and I just couldn't, and trying my best to. And then now recently going there with my nephews and being one of the older people there. And it had been years since I had went the last time, and it was lackluster, you know. It wasn't how I remembered. And, you know, the activities were cool, but I had outgrown them. There was so much less color than I remember. It was smaller than I remember. It just didn't do what it used to. And one funny thing I remember is getting older. Like when I was younger, I couldn't wait to get older and like drink when I was there and like have drinks by the pool and what I imagined it would be like. And what's so funny is that now that I was like of age to do it while I was there, I don't even do it anymore. So I kind of just like, normally I would drink and probably that would probably be the way to make it feel nostalgic again, to give me the feeling that I got when I was a child. And I didn't, so I just kind of had to take it just how it was. And it was still a good experience, but it just kind of reminds me to just, at some point I have to move on. Some of those things are better off left as memories. And, you know, of course, when things are difficult now or they're not the best, it can be easier to go back to that moment. But I think that overall nostalgia can be a trap sometimes. It's cool to remember those good things, but, you know, don't forget that you can still do stuff now and create memories that you might even enjoy more than these childhood experiences. Because I know I got caught up in it and I was desiring a time that just doesn't exist anymore. And when I would redo those things from my childhood, they were nowhere near what I remember. And that some memories are just better off left untouched. Realizing that times have changed and you're not the same person that you were when you were a kid, so you can't expect the same things to fulfill you like they used to. You can't get trapped in the past and not continue to find out who you are and do new things. Just accepting that. It was kind of tough for me in the beginning, but once I did, I moved on to new hobbies and things feel better. Because at some point I felt like I was like damaging myself trying to figure out a way to make those old memories hit like they used to when they won't. And I was just like sitting there going in circles trying to, oh, maybe I need to drink more or do more of this or smoke more of that to get that feeling, and it just isn't possible.